Good morning, folks. It's John Pettipas, 10 minutes before 12 noon on Saturday morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. It's the 5th day of March 2022. 2 more weeks to spring. The first 2 weeks from tomorrow will be the first day of spring. I'm very sorry to inform you. I actually didn't know it. I was speaking to somebody last night, another matter, and she mentioned in conversation that Mrs. Geraldine Parks had died. And I was so busy yesterday that very rarely do I not read the morning paper. And I didn't read the Halifax Herald, so I phoned up somebody and I mentioned one of our wonderful customers has gone to heaven. Mrs. Geraldine Parks of beautiful Steep Creek, Guysborough County. And I phoned the next lady up work with me, and she said, thank you for phoning, but she knew it was yesterday's paper. So lo and behold, I look at the paper, which I was going to read anyway after, but Geraldine, England, her maiden name England, Parks, and she wrote she'd gone to heaven. She was, I'll read you part of it here. Parks, brackets England, Geraldine Parks of Steep Creek, Guysborough County. Hi, folks. By the time you read this in the paper, I will have left my home here on earth and joined my family in heaven. So I had the option of writing it today, and here I am doing it my way. To my family, I love you dearly. And she goes on, just remember, the one that rocked the cradle rules the world. And Mr. Lloyd G. McLean at Pictou County was a man that, when not a preachy man, a wonderful guy, but one of his favorite expressions was, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And she has it right in here. Just remember, the one that rocked the cradle rules the world, so be careful, I'll be watching. I was born in a beautiful little community called Steep Creek, Guysborough County, on Sunday, May 26, 1934. The fifth of 12 children of my loving parents, Howard and Jessie, Jessie's maiden name being Cummings, England. And they meet Geraldine Lillian. Ended up with 7 brothers and 4 sisters, and we were so blessed to have lived in a household of happiness and unconditional love and support. I'm going to repeat that. And we were so blessed to have lived in a household of happiness and unconditional support. We made our own fun, played ball, swimming, coasting, skating, playing at the beach, and of course we would fight. In brackets, we were normal kids. We loved each other. Apostrophe, no TV back in those days. And she worked at Caden Fisheries and Sweet Shop Boat in Mulgrave, the Tourist Bureau of Port Hastings. So one very sad, I knew she was, used the expression, getting up there. I seen her about less than a year ago, and she was in fine form. She would have been 88 years young on the 26th day of May. And she was a pleasure to know. And she reminds me of somebody I work with, a tall, thin lady that always smiled, a proud Guysborough County resident and citizen of Nova Scotia, and just a lovely personality. And I'll tell you, she's half Cape Brettoner. Geraldine's mother, Jessie, maiden name was Cummings, from Sunnyside in Cape Breton Island, in Richmond County, across the lovely Strait of Canso. And she taught school. I have videos on Geraldine, but I got to mention this. Actually, her brothers or sister taught me this, that the mother taught school. She'd walk up, somehow get up from Steep Creek to Mulgrave, Port Mulgrave, buy her ticket, get on a train, get off about 1.5 miles from me here at Monastery. I'm in Tracadanic County, in Monastery. She'd walk up to Merland, teach all the kids, the Wallaces and Benoits and Welches and McDonald's, teach the kids up there, and then she'd walk back down to get the train, get transported back home to Mulgrave, get out down from Mulgrave to Steep Creek, look after her family. Remember, her mother was a family mother of 12 kids, okay? And she'd do it all over next day, and just a wonderful people. And she's a widow of the late Harry Parks. I remember Harry Parks coming in the store, And he died fairly young. I think he had heart or cancer, the poor man. But she lived a ripe old age and wrote her own obituary. You got to read it. You had the pleasure of knowing her, and it was a pleasure to know her, not just kind words. A pleasure to know her. Wrote her own obituary. It's very well written. She was a great great customer period, but great. She didn't come up here to buy potatoes in the fall when I'd get a pallet or so in. She's just a wonderful lady. She was a pleasure to know, right on the Strait of Canso. It's a lovely community. It's expression for down the shore. You say you go out of Auld Cove, go up to Cape Porcupine Hill to Mulgrave, Port Mulgrave, Pirate Harbour, Steep Creek, Middle Melford, Sandpoint, and so on. And they call it, you go down the shore. Then of the people, all the wonderful folks down the shore, the Ealers, and the Englands, and the Parks, and McCalls, and everybody coming up towards Mulgrave and the Auld Cove. They say up the strait. So down the shore, up the strait. Back to Geraldine. She was a wonderful, most gracious lady. Just a pleasure to know. You phone her up and tell her the potatoes are in the fall. Say about in the weekend when Terry or one of the boys is home and drive up and she get her potatoes. And just a wonderful, kind lady. She mentions that she worked at Acadia Fisheries. Almost everybody, she looked after her family wonderful. Takes almost everybody. Think of, my father worked there, Martha down the road, Rita across the track, Johnny Bushy, Geraldine worked there, Betty. There's almost everybody of her generation and younger worked at one point at Acadia Fisheries in Mulgrave. So at one point she worked at Acadia Fisheries in Mulgrave, and she was a wonderful lady. She was mother, grandmother, great grandmother, and I can use this sometime, and I say this sincerely. I don't have one unpleasant memory of Geraldine. She was just a great lady and wonderful conversationalist and a gracious Christian lady. She's just wonderful, and I want to right now extend my sincere condolences to her daughter. And I didn't realize she had one daughter that died young in life. Her daughter, Calistine, and her sons, and the grandkids. I don't know all of them, but the whole crew was just a wonderful family, and she's from a big family. She had sister Toots, and the reason I'm red, by the way, they were a big liberals. I not only put my red sweater, red jersey polo shirt on, I put a red cap on. I got to mention this. Toots she's talking to Toots in heaven now. Toots, I have my red cap on and my red shirt, so you'll be pleased to know that. There was Sandy, who just passed on last year. Preston, they're great carpenters, and Sister Toots I mentioned. There's a whole crew of them. They were a dozen. They were a dozen, and I'm going to conclude in her own words here. She said they grew up in a home of happiness and unconditional love and support. Happiness and unconditional love and support. And I'm not certain if the home they grew up in, I believe, is the home. It's always well maintained. Everything's paid impeccably. Shrubs or flowers planted in front. They mowed a lawn and have the barn and outbuilding across the road. And that is the house I'm certain that she was born in, okay? And there's a berm, and you can see the Strait of Canso out there to the back. And right through, it's a Middle Melford, Steep Creek. So they're wonderful lady. Let's conclude with a prayer, okay? Wonderful lady, Hail Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace. Blessed are thee among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, thy baby Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. So, Geraldine, we know, is in heaven. When I phoned up to Toof this morning, I said Geraldine Parks went to heaven. Not being judgmental, I said Geraldine Parks went to heaven. She was that fine lady. So again, I extend my sympathies to her friends and neighbors, and to her sons and daughter and grandkids. I think there's a few great-grandkids out there now. So she was a wonderful lady, and I repeat, a pleasure to know. And I wish you all the best, and God bless. Thank you very much. Bye for now.